Hey guys, welcome back to NSI Garage. We got kind of a fun one today. I have a 1972 SL 350 Mercedes Benz in here. The rear end locked up on the customer at about 40 miles an hour. We went through the rest of the car. It all seems to be generally okay. We're going to throw an eBay rear end in it, get it all up and going, bleed the brakes, go through the car, and try to get it back on the road before we can see if it needs anything major. So let's get the rear end out and get started. Absolutely bone dry. Ooh. I don't know what I'm feeling, but it's nothing good. Actually melted all the nylon here, there it is, out of it. Fuck! Hey guys, welcome back to NSI Garage. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. We're at part 4 of this 72 Mercedes 350 SL. They needed the rear end. They put the rear end together. I had to change the flange on the back of it. The flange on the back of it has a special nut, so you need a special socket. You can either make the socket, but I didn't want to make it, so I went on the search for it. It's completely made out of obtainium. You can't get your hands on it for less than $250. Made a special call into my buddy down at Mercedes Benz of Chicago. One of his veteran techs happened to have one, so today I was able to switch over the flange on it. Drive shaft. So you can see that it's a 4-pin, 30 millimeter, some stupid thing. The other really weird thing about this particular rear end are these flanges here. This is on the other episode. You had to pull a clip out of them. They're not like a C-clip. You don't pull the center out of the spider gears, and then push them in, and then pull the clip. The clip is almost like a snap ring. The other thing on it is these bolts here have to be absolutely perfectly aligned, or else it will not spin. Whoever had this diff, or the old diff in the thing, ran into the same problem, and he ended up chamfering. He ended up chamfering the flange on it like an animal. So all you had to do was align it properly, and I was able to confirm that on the old diff on the other side. So we got it reset. We got our new fluid, and we got everything in line. So we're gonna go back underneath and install it. On episode 1, when I took it out, I made one little mistake, and that was to unbolt this bushing or mount last. If you take it out first, or if you take these 4 bolts out first, the whole subframe will lean down really heavy, and then you can actually get to the 4 nuts that hold the rear end up much, much easier. It's actually not too bad to get to them by hand if you have a, what was it? I had a 3/8 just stubby, and the bolts really weren't that tight, even though they were nylon lockers. And I was able just to get up there and twist them out without a problem, and then I took off the back mount, and then the last nut. Then I realized the thing would drop down, took off the last nut, and then, you know, dropped the thing out of it. I don't care about damaging the old one, obviously, because it's absolutely trashed. I can't remember if I showed you guys or not, but so you can see how dry that ring gear is. I never put any brake cleaner or anything in this. It's that clean from being that hot. And you can see where the pinion, there's nothing left in it. And it's totally locked up. I was lucky that the flanges weren't damaged in the sides or the back. Real quick, before I put it in, I'm not going to completely fill it with fluid, but I'm going to put maybe 1/4 of a quart, half a quart in it, and just get it all the way around the diff. I want to make sure that pinion bearing is completely soaked and primed. When I opened it up, when it was shipped, it had no fluid in it, and I don't know if the guy blasted it with parts cleaner or whatever it was. I hit it with brake clean and cleaned it all out before I sealed it up, and it's been sealed for 3 days, so the RTV is set for sure. But I just want to make sure every bearing, all the side bearings, are completely immersed in some way, shape, or form before I drive it. That way I hopefully won't have any problems. Also, the CV axles on the back of this thing leave a lot of grease in these side flanges. I had to wipe them out so I could handle the thing. So I'm going to try to repack the CV bearings a little bit before I stick them back on. That way I know they're well lubricated too. I'm also going to go through it, bleed the brakes, I might pop the front tires off, make sure that the front wheel bearings actually have grease in them, seeing as the way that the guy hacked the last guy hacked it together. I know for a fact the center support bearing for the drive shaft is just hand tight. So I really am going to have to just go through every nut and bolt on it to make sure it's safe.